Good afternoon. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly celebration of service. I'm Steve Wicks, and I'm honored to serve as your president this year. Please silence your electronic devices. On this day in history, 1981, following up on an ultimatum he had issued 2 days before, President Ronald Reagan fired over 11,000 striking air traffic controllers. During the standoff, air traffic initially dropped in half, with air traffic control handled by replacement workers. The incident was a big political victory for President Reagan and a significant loss for organized labor. Glenda Murray will share the reflection for today.
Hi, everybody. President Steve asked me to talk a little bit about my service in the community. So I'm going to try to share a little bit, and just a little bit, about how I've been involved over the 40 years I've been here. I was raised with the understanding that we need to give back to our families and community, and I learned that by example. Many of you have already heard me talk about my father, who was a Rotarian for 50 years and a volunteer in many other organizations. And my mother was our 4-H leader for all the years that Betty and I were in 4-H. When I moved to Bloomington, I immediately got involved in St. Mark's United Methodist Church, served on a number of committees over the years, including the building committee for the addition that you see now. There was a group of us from St. Mark's who volunteered at the Hoosier Hills Food Bank in the meal share program until COVID made us all stay home. Repacking food was not an okay thing then. So I don't volunteer like I used to, but I still strongly support the food bank. When I became the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, and later called President, I was invited to join Rotary, which of course I happily did. I was the president in 2004-05, which was Rotary's centennial year. And I still serve on the Roundabout Committee, and I get to do the newsletter in September. I agreed to that before I realized there are 5 Tuesdays in September. It's a short month. How could... I joined the Monroe County History Center many years ago, and over the years served in a number of organizations, and number of offices, and I'm still on the Education Committee. The other thing that I was asked to do in 2019 was to be the volunteer county historian, who is someone who is appointed by the local, or nominated by the local history organization and appointed by the Indiana Historical Society. So I did that for 6 years and thoroughly enjoyed it. And Dave Nord, for those of you who know him, is the new one because I did retire from that job too. One of the things that I did as county historian was to nominate 2 more state historic markers, both of which have been approved and will eventually, in the next 2 or 3 years, get installed. One is to honor the Local Council of Women, the organization that created Bloomington Hospital in 1945. And the second one is to honor Lieutenant Gary Kisters, who was the first American in the country in World War II to be awarded both the Distinguished Service Cross and the Medal of Honor, which he received at the White House from President Roosevelt. And I could go on and on about that because I really liked doing the research for both of those, but I won't because otherwise Steve will be pulling on me. So I wanted to close by talking a little bit about Alexis de Tocqueville and how he believed volunteerism And civic association was one of the things that made America different and special. And to think about how, as Rotarians, we foster those social bonds and community cohesion and help individuals develop a sense of responsibility and civic duty. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. Among other things, Glenda and club member Jim Capshew are kind of representing and helping us keep tabs. America has a 250th birthday in July, and Glenda and Jim are part of the community group kind of getting together and starting to make plans. So like many people in this club, Glenda is very active. Lynn Schwartzberg will introduce our guest today.
And since I'm at the mic, I will also mention that Glenda is the president of our neighborhood association, who also does all of the heavy lifting for Prospect Hill. So thank you, Glenda. Well, we have a wonderful group of guests today. When I read your name, if you would please stand so that we can recognize you. I would like to introduce Sarah Marshall, who is a guest of Tyler Martin Nichols. Stacy Robinson, who is a guest of our speaker. Rod Cates and Randy Saunders, who are both here with the Boy Scouts. Lane Conway, a guest of Leslie Kostenkow. I probably said that wrong, but Lane, welcome. Kathleen Hansen, who is a guest of Yolanda Trevino. Do we have any guests online?
Yes, Lynn, we have some wonderful guests online too. I am happy to say that I have two guests today. My first guest is my sister Hillary Kahn, who is the IU Vice Provost of International Affairs. And my friend Danielle Willis is joining us. And Danielle owns her own caregiving practice called Dynasty Haven. And then a guest of Jeff Richardson, who is actually online here by phone. His guest is Rebecca Dirksen, who is joining us. So welcome to our guests.
If anyone of our guests would like more information about this amazing Rotary Club, please speak to somebody at your table. We would all be delighted to share our mission. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. And we have two other guests that Dave Meyer will introduce in just a minute. In terms of Rotary birthdays, we have one birthday to celebrate this week. Lauren Snyder celebrates on the 9th. And we have 4 anniversaries, starting with Bill Oates today, 7 years with our club and 37 years overall as a Rotarian. Steve Ingle on the 7th, 13 years. Mark Peterson on the 8th, 2 years. And on the 9th, Megan Neese, 9 years. For the announcements, Tyler, if you can put on the screen. Okay, as many of you know, our club assistant, Natalie Jenner Blaze, has accepted a job in Brentwood, Tennessee. That was my reaction as well. Tennessee's gain is our loss. Today will be Natalie's last in-person meeting. She has agreed to work remotely during the transition period. So as you leave today, make sure you wish Natalie well. But I'll show a few Natalie slides. I didn't have time to go way back in the archives, but here are a couple. The one on the left is from the district conference this past, just a couple of months ago, Alan and Natalie. And then we have one from a holiday party a couple of years ago with Natalie, with Charlie and Ashley. This was another one taken at the district conference. Natalie and Tracy, and then Sarah, who was involved in the Rotary scholarship program. This is from the picnic in June. That was a happy day. And finally, this is from last year, a big day when Natalie was awarded Paul Harris Award. So here she is with Mike Wade, Lawrence Snyder, and Mr. Baker. So Natalie, thank you. So back to the ordinary. Don't forget to buy your tickets for the Rotary Toast on Friday, November 7th. You go to rotarytoast.com to get your tickets. Make sure you save the date for the club holiday party on December 11th at the Bloomington Country Club. As you can tell, Andrea is heavily involved in planning that event. Youth Services Committee will meet via Zoom at 7 p.m. on Thursday, August 14th. See Joy Harder, who's our Zoom host today, or Leanne Radcliffe or me for details on how to participate. Staying with Youth Services, the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy, RYLA, scheduled for October 31st through November 2nd at Bradford Woods. Our club has budgeted funds to send 4 high school students, and Joy and Leanne and the committee will need to come up with their student selections by September 5th. Next week, our district governor, Carrie Aiken, will be our guest. We'll have a short meet and greet afterwards. If board members and committee chairs, please join us if you have the time. Rotary International has scheduled an early November heart-to-heart pilgrimage to Guadalajara, Mexico. The sign-up deadline is August 15th. If you're interested, see me or see Jim Bright sitting back there for details. International Committee has scheduled a meeting for Zoom for noon tomorrow via Teams. And see Whitney Cordoba right here for details. All club members are welcome to participate. And last announcement, Dave Meyer.
Thanks, Steve. I am here to announce an exciting new club project for our new Rotary year that began on July 1st. As many of you are aware, over the last several years, we've sponsored a refugee family, international refugee family, the Mohammadi family, who have been here almost 3 years. Yes, actually 3 years this month. And they are doing wonderfully. So, and that is in large thanks to efforts of various people in this room. They are doing so well. But this year, we are sponsoring an Iraqi family of a refugee family of 6, which includes 4 girls from ages 3 to 21. Okay. It's a little different, this club sponsorship, than the Mohammadis, because the Alani family from Iraq has actually been here for a year. So the kinds of things that we're helping them with are different than the initial finding furniture and a place to live and those kinds of things that we were doing with the Mohammadi family, because they were fresh and new in the United States. So I am inviting, along with Sarah Laughlin, who is joining me in co-managing this project as part of the Community Services Committee. I invite club members to do things like help them with English, help them look for jobs, coach them on the school system, and all kinds of other activities that will help them connect with our community and become effective members of our society and our community. So with that, I would like to introduce our 2 special guests. Laith, and Rana Alani. And if you have any questions or you think you might be interested in either knowing more or participating in this fun endeavor, please see me or Sarah Laughlin. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And I think we're ready for the mystery Rotarian. Once again, for those of you who haven't played, I'll put clues up on the screen. If you know the answer, put up your hand, don't shout it out. Those of you online, if you know the answer, don't electronically shout it out. Just let Joy know that you know the answer. And you did really well last week, so I tried to make it a bit harder this week. So here's the first clue. Yes. Okay, does anyone know it? All right. While Tyler is doing that, I accused Michael Shermis of scheduling his vacation around technical difficulties. First clue. This Rotarian enjoys bird watching, dancing salsa, traveling, and learning new recipes. Okay. Second clue. This Rotarian is a former Fulbright scholar, holds a doctorate in medicine degree, and is finishing a doctoral program in epidemiology. Okay, I see a couple. Hopefully Joy sees someone online. Third clue. This Rotarian has been a member of our club for a little over a year, currently serves as the club's international committee chairperson. I can tell there's some people who didn't listen to one of my 17 announcements earlier. Okay, and the answer is Dr. Whitney Cordoba. Whitney's sitting right there. There we go. And here are a couple of pictures. The one on the right, it was taken just a few weeks ago at the Teachers Warehouse Supply Drive. And so at a public health conference in Aspen earlier this summer, Whitney found some time to do some bird watching. She's a native of Columbia. She first came to IU when she began a public health master's program as a Fulbright scholar. After her arrival in Bloomington, Whitney became friends with Jim and Ann Bright through the Bloomington Worldwide Friendship Program. And I will admit Jim Bright was the winner today. He was the first one to put up his hand. And Whitney's schedule precludes her from joining many Tuesday meetings, but she's participated in multiple club service projects. So thank you, Whitney. So the whole theme of today's program is international, so I won't linger too much, but I've shown this slide before. The 7 areas of focus. And then also for Rotary International, we're into the month of August, and August is Membership and New Club Development Month. And at this point, Whitney, will you come introduce our guests?
So, good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute honor to introduce our guest speaker of today. Her name is Dominique Dumonay. Dominique is a dedicated Haitian community liaison with a strong background in communications, women's ministry, and conflict resolution. A proud second-generation Haitian American, Dominique has spent her life advocating for underserved communities across North America and the Caribbean. She holds a bachelor's degree in communications from Pace University in New York City and has received extensive pastoral training. For over 2 decades, she served as a spiritual leader, first in the New York, New Jersey area for 10 years, and later in Montreal, Canada, for 13 years, guiding individuals and families through life's challenges with compassion and wisdom. Her work has included leading marriage and conflict resolution workshops in Haiti during times of deep political unrest, a role she considers one of the most impactful of her career. Dominique is passionate about improving lives. She has been instrumental in supporting pilot initiatives in Indianapolis inspired by the Chamas program in Kenya, which promotes maternal and community health through peer-led support groups. Her relocation to Indiana in December 2023 reflects her commitment to addressing the social, economic, and health disparities facing the Haitian community in the region. Dominique currently serves on the board of Hope Worldwide and continues her work as a coach and mentor, helping people discover and develop their innate potential. She is the proud mother of 2 remarkable adult children and has been married to her husband for over 22 years. In her spare time, she enjoys teaching and dancing Zumba. Ooh. And she is an active member of Rise Church, where she supports various community outreach efforts. Dominique, welcome.
Thank you so much. I feel so welcome. Thank you. This is my first time with you at the Rotary Club and my first time here in Bloomington. So thank you for the invitation. It is beautiful. And so I just want to make sure that I can see what's here. But I just wanted you to know I am part of the Indy team, and I was able to go and travel to Kenya earlier this year, which was such a privilege. And I am not what I would say, I don't know all the details of the Malaysi Mama, but I will share with you what I learned and what I saw. But what I would like you to know is when I went to go visit one of the groups in Kenya, if I could just take you there just for a moment, when I came to the group, the women were singing. They were welcoming me and my husband, and they were singing, and they were just so happy. And I was just like, hey, what's going on? Is this how all the groups are started? They're like, no, they're just welcoming you into the group. And I want you to know, one of the things that I learned about Kenya was that they're just such a welcoming and joyful bunch of people. And I want you to know that they were so grateful and so happy just to have people as well as their Kenyan counterparts take part into the group. So Chamas really is groups. It's groups for change. And before I get into the Malaysi Mama, I wanted to tell you a bit about the Chamas, because the Malaysi Mama is the 3rd year portion of the Chamas program. So maternal and neonatal mortality is the leading problem in Kenya. For every 100,000 births, there's about 362 deaths. And for every birth, there's about 22 deaths. And so what they figured out was the 3 things that they can work on. There's a lack of peer support, there's a lack of poor access to financial capital, and poor health services. So what they have done is they've decided, in order to help people to take advantage of the wealth that they can get from their health, why don't we bring the services to the people? And what they've decided, they're going to, through clinical visits, through education, through support groups, they've decided we're going to help people do better. And how do they do that? They take it to the people where they live. Imagine you wouldn't have to leave your house. You can go right in your community to be part of a support group where you have people in the same stage of life with you that are going through the same challenges. And now you have health education. You also have, health education. You have what they call table banking. As part of the Chamas program, they have table banking, which allows people to have access to finances so that they can potentially pay for their health visits, so that they can pay for their school fees, so that they can start their own entrepreneurial business, so that they can be more financially independent. And what this does, it focuses on women from pregnancy to the first 1,000 days of birth for the children. And what they found is through the support groups, through teaching them health education, and also providing financial opportunity for them, it increases their outcomes for both mom and for their children. So what is the Chamas structure? The way that it works is they have 2 community health workers that are part of this group. And then they have 2 postmenopausal women, which imagine, you know, you might be a younger pregnant woman and you've never done this before. Maybe you don't have as much access to your family because they might not be proud that you're pregnant. So having the 2 postmenopausal women is like having like another little mommy in the group that welcomes you and just guides you through this period. And then in each group, there's about 15 to 20 women, okay? And what they found is that it is sustainable. And they talk about, again, 3 topics. They teach them health education. They have a social component to it, as well as the financial education, which I will say is really good because it allows the women to have different, I would say, positions, because oftentimes the women don't get the opportunity to speak in public. The women don't get the opportunity to go ahead and make bigger decisions. So within this group, they get so many different types of training. Now, a little snapshot about the Chamas group, which is incredible, is that almost 12,000 women have gone through this Chamas program. I just want to take a step back for you to just really take that. 12,000 women have been affected, plus their children. Also, they've trained 977 of the Kenyans to go ahead and lead this group with the health, the social, and the financial benefit. And the good thing is 90% of the people in this group, they meet together after the 3 years. So what this has done is that it's created another community that affects the whole community, as well as the health, the social, and the financial welfare of the mom and the children. So the big impact of all of this is that 73% of the women who partake in this, they at least go to 4 of their post and prenatal visits. 68% of the women who partake in this, they deliver at a health facility, which increases the benefits for the mom and baby. 98% of the women that are in this program, 48 hours after they deliver, they get somebody visiting them in their home, making sure everything is okay, to see if they need a referral to another health clinic, just in case they have any complications. And 74% of the moms, they breastfeed for at least 6 months, which increases the health of their children throughout the time. Now, for the Malazi Mama program. In developing countries, the biggest problem that they have is developmental delays for children. That's about 20 to 30% of the population. So what they found is with parenting interventions in these Chamas groups, they can reduce that. So it increases the developmental health of the children, and it reduces the stress that most parents feel. And I don't know about you if you have children, but if you're a mom or if you're a dad, you know that there are stressors that you can use some support for, and these groups definitely meet that. So some of the components of the Malazi Mama is that they target children that are 18 to 60 months, and there's about 18 groups. So they meet 18 times. And one of the wonderful things about the program is that if you participate, you get a home visit. It's not just within the group in the community, but people actually, the community health promoters go to your home to support you. And the Malazi Mama is part of the 3rd year portion of the Chamas program. And they get facilitators, and they do what they call like an Inyembe support model. Inyembe is a hut in Kenya. And so the walls of the hut is made up of positive parenting that they're teaching the parents so that they can support them within their family. And the roof is made up of setting behavioral limits as they teach their children. So you're looking here at this, there's 4 pictures, and this would be an example of what they would train the community health promoters to have in their groups at the Malazi Mama, which is about 90 minutes. And so you can see that there's a child here and the mom is on their phone. And you're looking, and the child is trying to get the mom's attention, but mom is texting. And you can see mom could be a little annoyed because she's doing something and the child is there trying to interrupt her. And so as part of this program, what they would do is they would ask the mom, well, consider what is your child thinking? How must they feel that they're trying to get your attention and you're a little bit busy? How is mom feeling? Could she be feeling annoyed? So what are the things that we want to do? What they try to teach the moms is listen to your child. They're trying to communicate they would like your attention. Watch your child. Oftentimes, your children want to be listened to and they want to be watched. Also, when you're speaking to your children, they want you to be enthusiastic as opposed to being annoyed. And then after that, set some special time with your children, because if you can have some special time with them and their glad bag is filled, then they will go along and play. Mom can have her time and child can go ahead and play and do what they're looking forward to. So they did a feasibility study back in 2016, and these are some of the things that they learned. Those who participated in the Malaysia Mama program, their harsh punishment episodes decreased. The parental stress dropped quite a bit. Stunting was reduced, and there was improvement in the developmental health of the children, saying that the Malaysia Mama program is very effective in many ways. So I know one of the things that you guys are wondering is, okay, how was the contributions that you made to the Malaysia Mama program, how was it used? And I have a bit of my slide for some reason. Something is missing, but 74 people were trained in the Malaysia Mama, which means they were able to go ahead and train a lot more mothers in Bungoma County. And also in one of the other counties, 64 people were also trained. And again, remember, in every group, there's 15 to 20 people and 2 community health promoters. So this means that they were able to go ahead and reach more people. The other thing that was also able to happen through your donations is that it allowed the community health promoters to have access to the materials electronically to make sure that the continuity is the same as they're teaching the mothers and having the different groups, which makes a big difference. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. So on the next slide, I wanted to tell you that I was able to go to Kenya with my husband. So he was able to come and participate in these groups, which he wasn't necessarily planning to, but I think it was a great thing. And this is one of the pictures after they had welcomed us, and we were sitting in one of their groups and we were watching how the community health promoters were going and they were teaching the families and how they were asking them if they had any questions or if they had any problems. The community health promoters are so proud to be able to contribute and to be able to teach the women and help them in the different areas that they are teaching them. And I think it's important to know that it's making such a big difference in the lives of the parents as well as the children, but also for the other mommies in the community, seeing how the benefit of this group for those that haven't been able to participate in the program. One of the things that they said to me that made me smile inside is that they said the fact that my husband had come to support me, whenever somebody introduced them, they're like, hey, so what do you do? How are you part of this program? He's like, oh, I just came to come and support my wife. And the women were surprised. They're like, men do that? They come and they support their wives. And so it gave them a vision that, wow, as I'm doing my business and I'm doing different things, it's possible that my husband will see my worth or my family members will see my worth and support me. And so I want you to know this is what you're contributing to. Right now, I know the future of the program is that they're working on scaling up the model for this Malaysia Mama. And part of the reason why I went to Kenya was because we are starting this pilot program in Indianapolis to help with one of the immigrant populations here. And so as they say in Kenya, I would like to say asante asana as well as merci in Haitian Creole. Thank you.
Between Chama and Malaysian Mama.
Okay, so Chamas is just groups in Kenya. So it's called Groups for Change because part of the culture is that they get together in groups to learn and congregate. Yes, Chamas for Change. And Malazi Mama is good parenting. Yes. Thank you.
Very much for your program. I've been to Haiti only once, and it was with a church group, and I have some Haitian American friends. Recently, and it came out in the paper yesterday, the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, are being harassed by the present administration, and a church group, interfaith group, got together to deal with that issue. What do you know about that issue and the way that Haitian Americans are now suffering as immigrant populations?
Oh, that is a loaded question. Let me think about how I'm going to answer that. I think it makes me sad because what I know about the Ohio area is that a lot of the immigrants that had come into the area, they revived the area because they were willing to take jobs that most people were not. I know that culturally, there are some differences. But for the most part, what they would like to do is they would like to be able to just work and provide for their families. And so it makes me sad, but I'm hoping that they will get some support to be able to help them through this challenging time. I don't know if that answered your question. You're welcome.
At the beginning of your presentation, you said that there were 3 ways that the women involved in the program could get some funding for some goals that they might have. Where is that funding coming from?
So what they've done, they've built into the program, based on what I know, they have table banking. So everybody contributes a little bit once they start in the group, and then they have somebody who's a board, like somebody that's the accountant that keeps track of the finances. And what happens is at the end of the group, those who want to, because it is optional, you don't have to participate in the table banking, they're able to request a certain amount. And they get to request a certain amount for a certain period of time, and they must return it with interest. It's not a lot, but it's just enough to help them to understand, okay, you have to give the money back, and they have to explain why they're taking it. And oftentimes the women will return the money beforehand with the interest because it is such a lifesaver for them and they don't want to waste the opportunity. So I hope that answers your question.
Do we have any questions online?
Not yet. Thanks for checking.
So 2 questions. First of all, I've read about a little bit of unrest in Kenya. And is that affecting the AMPATH area in Western Kenya? And then second, just kind of big picture, AMPATH as a whole, certainly AMPATH, among other agencies, worked with USAID and has relied on PEPFAR funds. Can you talk a little bit about how AMPATH is handling this first part of 2025?
Well, I know that I would like to lean on Stacy to help me with that. What I will say is there has been some unrest in Kenya, but it was on certain days. It has not affected the program because they keep people apprised of what's going on and they make sure everybody is safe. And in terms of the PEPFAR, from what I understand, and I would like to give some to Stacy if she would like to go ahead and answer that, they're working on figuring out the transition plan, how to garner funding to continue to help the work that's happening there in Eldoret and in Kenya to continue to going because it's such a good program that has helped the health outcomes of those participating.
Yes, and I don't have a lot of information I can add, but a little bit. So we were able to have some of our PEPFAR funding extended for a portion of the area. So we did receive PEPFAR funding, so that program is continuing on. And we hope and pray that it will continue on in the future. We'll find out, I believe it's September 15th, if I'm not mistaken, if it will continue to be renewed. And so we're still hoping that that will move forward. As of right now, we do have some PEPFAR funding. Some of the funding was cut that we also received, and that funding was primarily for our orphans and vulnerable children's program. That funding was cut because those services weren't direct medical services, rather they were support services for those populations. So that some of that funding was also cut. However, we have very generous donors, many of you, thank you so much,
Yes.
who are helping to support the program. And so we have faith that it will continue to move forward and we'll be able to continue to serve the populations that we have been. Hopefully that helps.
It looks like Hillary has a question online.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everybody. It's very nice to see you, and thank you for that interesting presentation. I am, as mentioned earlier, I'm actually Vice Provost for International on the IU Indianapolis campus. I know Stacy. Hello, Stacy. And I am curious about what opportunities there might be for IU Bloomington, and particularly in this case, IU Indianapolis students to get involved in some of the work that you're involved in the Indianapolis area, because we're always looking for global learning opportunities for our students locally, as well as internationally, but in this case, locally. So I was just curious of what opportunities there might be.
I think there should be some good opportunities. I think that talking to Dr. Laura Rule, who's heading the reciprocal innovation, would love to find out how students could get involved and what they can do, because there's definitely work to be done.
Great, thank you. Stacy, maybe you can help facilitate some of that too. Is she shaking her head?
Yes, yes, she
Okay,
is.
great, thanks.
I have a comment and a question. The first comment is I went to Wittenberg University in Springfield, Ohio, so it makes me sad too. Second, I was wondering if there are any plans for the folks who participated to kind of become ambassadors themselves, you know, just sharing their information with about what they've learned with sisters, with friends who haven't been in the program.
Well, what I'll say, I know that the Kenya team, when I was there in March and in April, one of the things that they do have people sharing their stories. And that's where they're also able to get some people who want to participate in the program, because they do see how it's been helpful, because the women do talk in the community and share what's going on. So I do believe that that is actually happening now. Thank you.
A very interesting presentation. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the plans in Indianapolis, which immigrant population, and you know, just a little bit more about what you have envisioned?
Absolutely. So the goal is to target women who have not, pregnant women who haven't connected with health facilities, so that we can make sure that they are connected to the health facilities. It is the Haitian population that has been targeted. We've actually just hired our first community health worker, and she's doing her training and should be finished early September. We are working on the adaptation that we're for Indianapolis right now, starting this month. And so the goal is to have a year program to just show how this can really help the Haitian population, so that they can understand the health system as well as the benefits, because they have a high infant mortality rate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have another online question. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you. First of all, I apologize, my video is not working. But thank you for the the presentation, Ms. Dumonay, if I pronounced that correctly.
You did.
But my question is, given your pastoral background, how important is that when you're working with underserved communities and some of the hardships they're going through? What role do you see religion or spirituality as part of your pastoral duties in support of your other work?
Well, I do feel like it's definitely an asset to what I do, because I did a lot of work in Haiti, and because I understand the culture, I speak the language. To me, already, a lot of the women and the people that I talk to have gone through traumatic encounters, even just getting here, and some of them also losing children and other challenges that they face. So I do feel like it's an asset. It helps me to connect with people, whether they feel like, not so much on the religious scale, but I think it just helps with my empathy and my compassion. It helps me so that I can have, so that I can make sure that I am listening and allowing people to express themselves, not necessarily giving them advice. But I think what people need to know is that I see you and I care about you. How can I help you or direct you into the right path? So I do feel like it's very important.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi there. My name is Katie Cernick. I had a question for you. I'm curious about just how are communities identified in Kenya for receiving the services, and where are they? What kind of communities are they? Are they primarily rural, urban? Yeah, I'm curious to hear more about the population that's served and if there's any particular reason why those communities are reached out to for the programming.
Well, I know that I can't necessarily tell you the why of, and it could be, I know that when the empath program started, the Chamas for Change, they were working with the government as well as the health system. And so through that, they were able to identify areas of need. And through there, there's rural, there's urban. In Eldoret, there's some, in their area, there's Webuye and there's Trans and Goya County. And so they have in several places. So I think what they try to go for, especially places that are not as close to health facilities, those can have more challenges, but still those who are living in closer to the health facilities, because they're close doesn't necessarily mean they go. So I think the goal of the Chamas program was to help them to see the importance and the benefit. So they did both, the rural as well as the urban. And Stacy would also like to answer.
Another reason the areas were chosen is that our partner, our AMPATH partner in Kenya is Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital and Moi University. And so these counties that Dominique has mentioned are the catchment counties. So that the hospital, these are where the patients are referred from. So all of the AMPATH programs that we have are based in the catchment areas that it's quite a large catchment area that are served by the hospital. So just a little more background there.
Yes.
I think Jeff has one online. Jeff, are you there?
He does. I don't know.
Yes. Hi, can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you for all your great work with AMPATH in Kenya. And I wanted to ask you also, if you're comfortable, how you are feeling about the current state of affairs in Haiti, and what does, in your opinion or hope, what does the future hold?
Well, my opinion, I'm always trying to be politically correct when I answer. It's really sad for me to see what's going on in Haiti. I explain to people, anybody who's here, it's not because they dislike the US, they'd rather be home. Anybody would rather be home where they understand the language, they can have opportunity. It's very sad for me to see what's going on in Haiti. I think that if the political climate was different, if there was more stability, and once the economy is able to pick up, I think a lot of people will go home in Haiti. That's the hope, that they can get the gang violence under control so that the government will be stable, so that people can resume regular life, but also that they can move forward and there can be more infrastructure. Even just this AMPATH program would be amazing in Haiti. That's the first thing I thought about when I went to Kenya. I was like, this would be great in Haiti. So if you ask me what I think, it's the hope of there just being a better and brighter future when it comes to the health, the economy, and just the social outcomes of the people in Haiti.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
I know one of the notes I took, that when you talked about men supporting their wives, I plan to go home after this meeting and ask if that's something that I should have been doing for the last 40 years. So Dominique, thank you very much. In honor of your presentation, a donation will be made this quarter to Off Night Productions. Talked about PEPFAR in the conversation. Does everyone here in the group know what that is? Okay, so that is a program that began during the George W. Bush administration, and it was a U.S. support combating HIV/AIDS overseas. Very successful program. It's one that was been targeted with this current administration. I was happy to hear Dominique and Stacy talk about that. At this point, they're still rolling forward. But like many things connected with foreign affairs and foreign aid, it's been uncertain times, but it is a program that, once again, George W. Bush pushed very hard and got Congress to pass it. And it's been a very successful program for about 20 years. I'm going to switch things up a little bit, Michael, if you're able to cooperate. But let's just do one session of Happy Dollars.
I want to celebrate Natalie's service with us. We'll miss you. But I guess we can't compete with the grandkids.
I also want to give $10 in honor of Natalie.
Well, I jinxed myself last week, so I'm not going to talk about the Cubs. I've got some happy dollars. I got to visit Mexico City, which is an incredibly diverse and complex city. And we saw some Rotary signs with some project results, fountain, some benches, and it was really fun. Every now and then it's like, oh, look, Rotary. And I was too late to join a meeting, but Mexico City has lots of Rotary clubs. I looked them all up and there's 7 or 8 of them.
I've got $20 for Natalie too. I'm so sad to hear you're leaving. I've had so much fun working with you, but best of luck in Tennessee.
I'm going to jump in as well, just to tell Natalie how much I've appreciated everything that you've done. And I'm going to throw in $50 because you are so spectacular. And I simply cannot imagine that the year that I was president would have been in any way successful without the support and help that you gave me. So thank you for everything that you've done.
Well, hi, this is Raj as well. During the years since I work on Zoom, during the years since I am on Zoom, Natalie has been a great help for me. She is a great communicator. She is precise in her service to all of us members as well as to the club. I greatly appreciate her role, and boy, I have to match Elon by giving $50 for the cause that she served us during the year.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear your report today. And we should understand, even though we love being with men, women too, that enormous amount of goodwill is and healthiness and steps towards peace are generated by having women involved in these projects. And I hope they bring the next generation up to be kind and peace-loving and open to new ideas. And Natalie, of course, is one of the best examples of what we can all be.
I just want to say how much we are going to miss you, Natalie. We love you, and I'm going to have to figure out a way for somebody else to buy as many formal gowns as you do. It's going to be really hard, but we love you.
I have $5 happy dollars for my son who is starting kindergarten next week.
And I want to give $50 in honor of Natalie. I've been working with her closely for many years, and it's been such an honor and a great process to be able to back and forth with her on all the programs and everything else we do. So thank you, Natalie.
Go, Jeff. Jeff has, I don't know if he just got frozen, but he is also, if you can hear me, giving $50 for Natalie's joyful and diligent service. We will miss you deeply. Love you so much, Natalie. We will not forget you.
But Joy, one thing I did miss, did anyone get the Mr. Rotarian online?
No. Sorry, Whitney. Although I started to have an inkling, but I'm like, of course, Whitney.
Well, I'd like to thank the club members who volunteered to help with today's program. Charlotte Zitlow, Lynn Schwartzberg, Whitney Cordova, Joy Harder, Glenda Murray, Jim Bright, Michael Shermis, Dave Meyer. And then obviously would like to recognize from 2018 to today, our assistant Natalie Blaze. So Tyler, if you could share the graphics for the four-way test. And please stand if you're able. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?
Steve, I looked at a picture of Natalie, certainly you and Natalie, and whoever else we could get appropriate. And
sure,
also like to get a picture of the